myself. Take it back. Do-do-do-do. Take it back.
Hello, welcome once again to another round of international championship boxing here on British Eurosport. My name's Steve Holsworth and we have the IBF Lightweight Championship up for grabs here between Stefano Zoff, the Italian favourite, in action against Levander Johnson from Atlantic City in New Jersey. Coming to the ring now, waving the American flag. 12 rounds of boxing, of course, scheduled. Now, Johnson, 35 years of age, but Zoff is something of a phenomenon these days. He's 39 now, a combined age here of 74, these two men. Tell you a bit about Johnson, starting boxing professionally back in 1989. And, of course, already has achieved a great deal. Fought for the WBC title in his 24th fight. Got stopped by Miguel Gonzalez in 8 rounds. He was then fought Uzbek Nazarov, the Russian, got stopped in 7 rounds of the WBA title a couple of years later, before eventually winning at the second attempt, my apologies, trying to win the IBF Championship against Javier, I can't even pronounce his name, back in 2003. Got stopped in 11 rounds for this championship, but here he is, getting a second bite at the cherry. Well, what can you say about Stefano Zoff? Been a pro now the same time as Johnson, turned pro back in 1989, and he has won the Italian Championship numerous times. He won the European title at featherweight, he won the WBA Lightweight Championship, and he also won the European Lightweight Championship on 2 occasions, and he's also fought for the WBO title. So there you are, that is Stefano Zoff, a real committed performer. 39 years of age though, and that will go heavily against him here, I suspect. And for those that don't know a great deal about Levander Johnson, let me just fill you in a wee bit on his career. He had an 8th round knockout win over Shambe Mitchell back in 1994. Good form. He beat Juan Polo Perez in 3 rounds back in 2000. Also had a win over Ray Minus in 8 rounds.
In case of a knockdown, I'll send you to the furthest neutral corner. Remain there until I send for you. Good luck, man.
So potentially then 12 rounds in front of us here to decide the IBF Lightweight Championship. The vacant version, by the way. No one's got this title. And back to Levander Johnson. He had a very good draw with Emmanuel Burton, who can be awfully dangerous at times. Had a win, a majority verdict over Julian Wheeler. So that's really about all that stands out for Johnson. But he's a decent fighter. Although I must say, when it's come down to the big fights, he's always come up short. Now, big question, of course, can you beat Zoff in Italy, especially, of course, if this one goes the full route? And this Palalido always very well attended, despite the fact that Zoff is from Monfalcone in Italy. He's had some very good wins, by the way, Stefano Zoff, as mentioned to you earlier. Get to those a wee bit later, hopefully. So Levander Johnson then skipping around this ring in the white shorts. Attempts an overarm right there, but no great commitment behind it. So Johnson, they're just controlling things at the moment behind that jab of his, and he looks very alert, doesn't he? 2 real veterans, these, of the lightweight division. And Zoff's done absolutely everything in boxing. You just wonder what motivates him these days. Now, it's an interesting thing here about Stefano Zoff. Ordinarily, of course, he jumps on opponents and pumps away relentlessly with both arms, but he's not getting the opportunity here. And you know, the irony is, you might think, oh, do this, do that, do the other. But of course, Zoff knows exactly what's going on here. Every time he tries to make a forward move, it looks like Levander Johnson's got his number. And he's taking evasive action before, of course, countering. He's also got very long arms as well, Johnson. So the craggy old face then of the 39-year-old Italian, Stefano Zoff, looking to become world champion yet again. He won the WBA championship at this weight. Twice, of course, a European title holder in the lightweight division too. And I've got to say here, Levander Johnson's a very cagey operator. He's had slightly the better of things in the first round, although never really much between them. Well, swiping left hook there from Zoff.
Right. Come on, step back, come on, right.
So very much a tactical battle ensuing here.
Step back.
And Zoff has got to get close enough to land clusters of punches without getting caught, and that's easier said than done. And of course he knows it. Well, not a bad start there from both fighters, but I do believe that Johnson has taken the first round. So over to Zoff then, and you may remember way back in 1994 he had a good win over Stefano. Now Hakoon went on to become an IBF champion, of course. He actually beat Hakoon in 9 rounds to become European champion. Lost in his first defence to Mehdi Labouni. Remember also that Billy Hardy was one of his bogeymen. Billy beat him on points over 12 in his second European title shot. He had a good win over Julian Lawson to win the WBA title in the lightweight division, as you want to read a replay here. Yes, he beat Lawson points over 12 on a majority verdict. Other good wins on the Zoff record include Jamel Leifer, Darius Snarsky, Bruno Wartel, David Burke, Christophe de Bouzier, and more recently Martin Christensen on points over 12 rounds. His last defence of the European title. Another couple of interesting results. He was outscored by Jason Cook for the European title when it was vacant. Sadly, Cook failed the weight, so the title was declared vacant. Zoff won it the next time he boxed, and he beat David Burke. Also had a points loss to Artur Gregorian for the WBO championship over 12 rounds. So hopefully that's filled you in about the backgrounds between these two men. Levander Johnson, a boxer more than anything, although a pretty precise puncher when the opportunity arrives. Zoff, well, he's a thud and blunder Italian fighter, and he's always decent to watch. He might be a bit craggy, and he might sometimes look a bit on the awkward side, but he can be very effective. And of course, what gets him so successful, of course, these days is the simple fact that he throws so many punches. Hard to nail, hard to hurt. We're looking to stick closer to Johnson. Obviously realising Zoff that the longer he stands back, the worse his chances will be. Thinking that to put Johnson under pressure and score to the body might be the way through here. But Johnson's a big lad, he's 5'9". I was a 5'9" lightweight as well. I didn't fight many bigger, 1 or 2. I think Zoff's 5'7". So Johnson then picking and poking here, not getting overly involved. Well, takes a good right there from Zoff. Well, there's no doubt about it. Zoff might not be the busier of the two, but when he does land, it really does show. A decent left hook in the opening session. Good right hand there. Despite the fact that Johnson, I believe, won the opening session. Well, picking his punches quite well now, Johnson. And ordinarily Zoff, of course, gets into a fight very quickly. Well, he's cutting down the gap now. And, of course, sticking close to Johnson again. In fact, I've got to say, a very close round, this one. It may even end up level. So changing tactics then from Zoff, and it's changed the fight. Possibly the complexion and the turnout. Well, I can't separate them there in the second. So good effort from Zoff. So despite some decent work there from Stefano, Zoff, I still think that Levander Johnson did enough work to take a share of that round. I doubt very much whether the Italian judges, sorry, my apologies, the Italian crowd would have agreed. But there you go.
allora va bene, va bene.
Un po' più deciso.
Non
Più deciso, ma
preoccupiamoci
controlla
adesso.
bene, è sulle mani, sai?
Forza.
Va bene?
Spostati un po' che lo
Bit of replay then for round two.
Vedete com'è
As you saw, Stefano Zoff cut down the gap, got nice and close, although Johnson did score with some inside punches, reasonably well. Did a great inside fighter, Johnson.
Stai tranquillo. Tieni sulle mani, tranquillo.
Dai Stefano.
Into round three we go then, of the IBF Lightweight Championship, the vacant version, and Levander Johnson in the white shorts from Atlantic City, New Jersey, in action against the Italian, the favourite for this, Stefano Zoff. I say favourite, maybe not on paper necessarily, and don't forget he is 39 years of age, which is 4 years older than Johnson, and they always make a terrible mess in the corner, don't they? So, action then does start in round three, and Levander Johnson will know he needs to stick out that left hand and keep Zoff away.
And the free.
And that's a very good punch that Johnson has, the right uppercut. Of course, it doesn't land that often. And one of the reasons for that, of course, is that Zoff is so slippery on the inside. He bobs this way, then the other. And he's boxing at a time when men of his age ordinarily sit by the fire with their slippers on. But 39 years of age, still competing on the world stage. That takes some doing. What an athlete. And this, of course, may be Zoff's last bite at the big cherry. We'll see. Levander Johnson, of course, at 35. He won't have a great deal of time left in him. Takes a good right there. And this crowd really have warmed to Zoff over the years. They've had a long time to do it. He's been a pro now for 16 years, the same as Johnson. And Johnson's been a bit of a slow boiler, really, in boxing terms. This, in fact, is fight number 41 for Levander Johnson. His record stands at 33 wins and 4 losses, 2 draws and 26 wins inside. Zoff, on the other hand, has won 43, lost 9, drawn 2, stopped just 18. So not a huge puncher, but a relentless worker. Well, once again, long punches coming in here from Johnson, and that's exactly what you'd anticipate from him. Not exactly a top draw performer, by the way, Johnson, but this might inspire him, this opportunity, and of course against a hostile crowd and an aging former champion. Well, once again, Zoff not at all comfortable here.
All right, your hands are free. Box.
Well, that wide-eyed stare once again from the American. And this is not a great round now for Zoff. Johnson's virtually controlled this one. He's taken his lumps, of course. Indeed he has, but still, I got him now winning 30 points to 28. By the way, Zoff is one of those sorts who can take a round out every now and then just to get a breather, but come on strongly once more. Seen him do that many a time. But I just wonder whether Father Time will come knocking on his door, tapping on his shoulder and just reminding him where he's at.
Devi essere scattante, è una roba importante, se non portare colpi da lontano, se vuoi portare 1-2 senza andare avanti non c'è la che lui è lungo.
Respira, respira, tenga tempo, respira, respira.
Here we go, a bit of replay then from round 3.
Forte, invece ora
Well, that looked like a hurtful uppercut, judging by the response there from Zoff when he took it. Into round 4 we go then of a scheduled dozen to decide the vacant IBF lightweight championship. So Levander Johnson, not the prettiest of performers, but effective. Well, a bit of holding and hitting there. Well, in fact, Johnson was holding. It was Zoff hitting. All pals afterwards, of course. And once again, these long raking punches coming in from Johnson.
Come on, work that jab. Just like in the gym.
And this crowd's thoroughly getting into this. They're mesmerised around the ringside and beyond, of course. But Zoff is not getting off with as many punches as he'd like to. Well, oh, lovely left hook there from Stefano Zoff. Best punch of the fight so far, and it rocked Johnson to his boots. But the problem is for Zoff, he doesn't maintain that work rate. Simply because he's not being allowed to. But what a game fighter.
Watch your head, man. Watch your head. Wait. Watch your head. Watch your head.
Keep it popping.
Well, Zoff now coming on strongly here. Oh, again, a big wide left hook there from Zoff. Seen plenty of him over the years. Don't see a great deal of Johnson. Well, I didn't even notice that gum shield go out. Probably the left hook that did it. Well, Johnson, every now and then, landing a telling punch. But this is probably the best round so far that Stefano Zoff has had. Indeed it is. Well, a bit of showboating there from Johnson.
Hands off of him. Don't move your hands off.
So Levander, William Johnson coming back towards the end of round 4. But I've got a feeling here that Zoff might just have done enough to edge it, despite a decent finish here by Levander Johnson. Or is it? I mean, is it going to be a first round for Zoff or not? Lands that left hook again. Well, I've got to say, ultimately, I cannot separate them once again. A very close round. 40-38. 4 gone. Potentially 8 to go. Bit of replay then from round 4. And a cracking start. In fact, most of the round was very good here for Stefano Zoff, but Johnson came back. Let's see what round 5 hails here. So Stefano Zoff down in the black shorts from Italy, boxing in front of his home crowd here, looking to become a 2-time world lightweight champion. Don't forget, he was a WBA holder. 3 times European champion, once at feather, twice at lightweight. And by the way, Levander Johnson has never won a major championship, despite his age of 35 and the fact that he's having his 41st pro fight here. And Zoff, well, this is the old Zoff, isn't it? He just sticks his head out and bangs away. He doesn't care where they land. Well, this is Zoff now looking very tricky here. bobbing and weaving once again.
We got to turn it up, baby.
And the Americans must have been pretty confident about taking this match in Italy. Although, of course, money would have been a big incentive. I wouldn't have thought Levander Johnson was the easiest man to promote. Well, right there again from Zoff, but all the hard work coming from Johnson. Well, this has turned into an old cliche, a war of attrition between these two men. Johnson, of course, looks much more composed because that's the way he is. But as for Zoff, well, he's one of those guys who can look awfully raggedy, even when he's not. And don't forget, the other thing about Johnson is because he's such a composed fighter, if he does lose that composure, it really will show. And again, a very close round here. And there's the bell to end. Well, goodness me, Johnson just about. 50-47 on my card, 3 in front, 5 gone. 47 on my card, 3 in front, 5 gone. Bit of replay then for round 5 here. Left hook from Zoff. So quite a physical battle in many ways, this one. The harder punches have clearly come from the Italian, but the work rate ordinarily has come from the American. And there's a lovely long left hook again from Zoff. And despite not looking it, I suspect he's a pretty hard puncher. I'll have to ask Billy Hardy one of these days. Round 6 then, 7 rounds to go. And there's Silvio Branco at ringside. So Levander Johnson then against Stefano Zoff. At stake, the vacant IBF lightweight championship. And both men have done well. Well, some big punches here now from Johnson, trying to react and respond to the pressure here being applied by Zoff. Well, it's just the kind of effort you'd have expected from Zoff, isn't it? Never stops. Well, Johnson there took a big left hook again, although it wasn't a particularly devastating punch. And he must be absolutely amazed at the work rate here of Zoff. And of course, nice boxers, stand-up fighters don't want to see someone marauding them. They want a bit of space, they want time and room to work. They hate the idea of someone keep charging at them. So 40-odd seconds to go then in round 6. There's a left hook there from Johnson. So Levander Johnson then. Under a bit of pressure but still responding.
Get off his head, get off his head. Break. Get off his head.
Well, there's the bell to end the 6th round. And once again, an awfully close session. I'm going to go for Zoff there. So, Zoff still a couple of points behind, but it's closing up slightly. He was very busy there, and I've got to say Levander Johnson wasn't particularly impressive. So a bit of replay here then. Both men going at it, hammer and tongs. Big wide left hand there again from Zoff on the replay. Johnson missing. Now, what's going on? What is going on? Well, he looked none too keen to come out for round 7. The halfway point, then 6 gone, 6 to go. So this IBF lightweight title still very much in the balance, and don't forget, in the event of a close round, it will go to Zoff, because that's just the way it is. The tape coming loose on Zoff's left glove. And there's nothing Johnson could do to stem this tide of aggression from the Italian. And Zoff trying ever so hard, isn't he?
Get your work off of this step first. Don't watch out. Don't watch out. Hit the chest, hit the chest, hit the chest.
Well, there was quite a bit of head shaking, wasn't there, on the stool at the end of round 6 from Zoff. Now, I'm just wondering, is this the last hurrah for him? Have they said, get out there, have one more round, do well? Oh, good right hand from Johnson. And that one hurt Zoff. And he's still unsteady. Looking very unsteady here, Stefano Zoff. The legs betrayed him a moment ago. Of course, he has the experience to keep himself out of trouble. Can he enact that here, though? First decent right hand that Johnson got through with, and it really did bother Zoff. Well, the tape he's looking at now. Well, another right hand catches him. Zoff once again beginning to reel slightly, if it's possible to reel slightly, as he's got again. He's a tough guy, Stefano Zoff, isn't he? He won't go down, oh goodness me, unless he absolutely has to, and he has to. He's gone down in the 7th round from a crunching right hand there. He was caught on very unsteady legs. Well, he's up at 7, he's very unsteady. And it's all over, surely. It's all over. So there you are, Stefano Zoff beaten inside the limit. The new IBF lightweight champion of the world is Levander Johnson. Now that is a position you don't often see Zoff in. He's only ever been stopped on 2 previous occasions. won by Vladimir Matkinski back in 1997 in 5 rounds, and won by Gilberto Serrano in Las Vegas in 10 rounds when he lost the WBA championship. And here he is getting stopped for the 3rd time in his career. And a succession of good long right hands from Levander Johnson, the punches that were responsible for the eventual capitulation of Stefano Zoff. But didn't he do well whilst it lasted? I have a feeling they said to him in the corner, look, get out there, have one more round. He was shaking his head, he wasn't too sure about what was going on. Get out, have one more round, and he was doing well till he got caught. And that was the final punch. And he was caught, of course, on very rubbery legs before he went over, but didn't he do well? So Levander Johnson then does what he's always hoped he would do. At the 2nd time of asking, he's become the IBF champion. Don't forget, he was stopped himself in 7 rounds by Ozubek Nazarov for the WBA championship, a title previously held by the man he's just beaten. And he was stopped in 8 rounds by Miguel Angel Gonzalez back in 1994 for the WBC title. But here he is, coming good after an 11th round defeat for this title previously. He's come good in 7 rounds against Stefano Zoff to be crowned the IBF champion. And he'll be delighted with